And you want to be that person to just sit around and be like, oh well, you know, I don't have to do anything right now, like everyone else does it for me. No. Hey babes,
I'm Madeline.
and I'm Tasia,
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. If you are feeling unmotivated, you clicked on the right video.
I know we tend to get in that like lazy, like we don't want to do anything. We're unmotivated. We kind of just lay in our bed and we think we lay in our bed and we're like, we really need to fix things, but then you don't do anything to fix it.
I think that's such a natural human response, but
Right?
truthfully, the way to overcoming everything in life is learning how to motivate yourself. And even on those days when you're feeling lazy, you're not feeling productive, getting up and doing the work that needs to be done in order to get you your dream life.
And my mom mentioned it actually when we started college. She said, like, I was telling her about all these other people, like, oh, these people are doing this, they're doing that, and she was like, you shouldn't be competing with other people around you. The only competition you have is with yourself and yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, really unlocking that like competition within yourself and challenging yourself, that's what's going to get you far, right? I always say that success is only for the people who really want it, right? Because if you were not willing to work for it, if you were not willing to put in the effort, you're not going to be successful.
That's another thing. Like, if you don't have a drive, like if you don't have a reason and you don't have like that motivation to just be like, I want this, like I'm gonna work for it, where do you think that's gonna take you in life? That's not gonna take you to reach your goals. You're gonna
you're not gonna get anywhere, quite frankly. But just know that it doesn't happen overnight. But when you are feeling unmotivated and lazy, you know, there's a method called the 3-2-1 method. So basically what you do is, say you're laying in bed and you don't want to get up in the morning, but you know you need to get up to study for an exam or do something.
Or like go to the gym, you know?
Yeah. All you do is you say 3, 2, 1. And then you shoot yourself out of bed before you have time to overthink it, before you have time to create an excuse and to stop. Because I think all of us do that, you know, we try and create an excuse and we're like, oh, well, like, you know, if I wait 5 more minutes, it's not going to hurt anything.
And then you end up sitting in your bed for an extra hour.
You're breaking your trust within yourself, and that's the worst thing to do. Because then you don't trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, other people aren't going to be able to trust you when it comes to school, business meetings, you know, anything.
Relationships, anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And another thing too, if you're anything like me where like you just lay in bed and then you're like, you know, like if anything, like it's just like you have to start somewhere. And my biggest thing is like I have trouble starting, but once I'm doing it, I can knock it out. Like I just need to start, and that's always the hardest part for people because they make up all these excuses in their head, like, oh, I'll do it in 5 minutes, or I'll do it on Monday since it's the beginning of the week. No, just go ahead and do it.
Because then you're just gonna be thinking about it, and you're gonna be like, oh, if I started like a year ago, I would have had my dream body, or I would have had my dream career.
If I studied, you know, 2 days before instead of 2 hours before the test, maybe I would have gotten a better score.
Yeah, exactly. Just, you know, you just have to get up and do it. Truthfully, you are never going to feel motivated. You're never going to feel like, oh my gosh, I really want to get up and go to the gym today. I really want to start eating healthy. You might feel like that for like maybe 10 minutes, but realistically, that's not going to last. You're not going to feel motivated every single day. The key to success and the key to consistency is just getting up and doing it even when you don't want to.
Exactly. And like going back to like successful people have drive. They have drive because they know what they want. They see what they want and they're like, I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it. But if you're like, oh yeah, I really want that, and then you don't do anything to work towards it, obviously you're not gonna get it. You're not doing anything to work towards it.
It's almost like we love, you know, using little phrases to like put it into perspective. It's almost like, you know, you're at like a dinner or something, right? And you see a gorgeous slice of cake that you want so bad. And you're like, I want that so bad. But you don't move to go get it. Somebody else snatches it up. You don't get it anymore. Because somebody else took it because you didn't get off your butt and you didn't walk for it and you didn't get it.
And then I bet you're looking at that person and you're like, oh my gosh, like I hate that person, like they just ruined everything. Exactly. And then you get jealous, and then
that's the worst feeling. Nobody likes being jealous.
You could have prevented that. You literally could have prevented that if all you did was just get up.
Yeah.
You just need to do it. If you think about it, my biggest thing is like whenever I think about it, I just go ahead and do it. Because the more you wait, the more you're going to think about it moving on, and it's just going to stress you out for the rest of the day.
As much as we love to always point out like, oh, well, like, Nepo babies, like, everything's just handed to them, everything's blah, blah, blah.
Oh, they're rich, they have money, they always get what they want.
Right. The reason why they get that is because the generation before them worked for it. And I am not somebody who comes from, you know, a rich family or...
Neither am I.
Like, we are not Nepo babies by any means. But, you know, it's because that prior generation worked for it. They put in the success. Somebody had to put in that success so that they could pass it down through their lineage, you know?
Mm-hmm. And
So,
you really
like,
think you're gonna...
Don't use that excuse, you know?
Exactly, and you want to be that person to just, like, just sit around and be like, oh, well, you know, I don't have to do anything right now. Like, everyone else does it for me. No! Go up and do something. Get up and do something. Because if you just sit around waiting for...
It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
That's a harsh truth.
It is. It's a hard truth, and I think it's a very hard pill for people to swallow when they don't have a drive. If you don't have a drive in something, find something to be passionate in. Find something that you want to achieve. Because if you have no goals in life, like, what is the point of life? What are you living towards? What are you doing?
And I guarantee you, successful people only want to surround themselves with other successful people. With the same people who have that same drive. If, you know, you say you are a very successful woman, you know, you have an amazing job with, you know, 6-figure salary, you're doing amazing things, or you're working for a charity, you know, you're doing great things for the world, and then you're dating somebody who doesn't even have any drive, who doesn't want to get up out of bed every single day, that's going to cause issues.
And my calc professor made a good point too. She also changed my perspective because, like, you know, before I wouldn't study, I would study, but I wouldn't do all of my homework because, you know, I didn't, you know, as long as I studied, I was fine. But she made a really good point. She was like, you need to be able to provide something moving forward. Like, you're gonna be in places where you have to work in a group of people, and you're gonna be surrounded with all these people that know what they're talking about and that can put something onto the table. And then when they get to your point, you're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what are you bringing to the table? What are you doing? If you don't put any work towards that, like, you're just gonna be left out, and you're gonna be surrounded by these people that have put in the work, and you're gonna wish you did better.
And I mean, there is a difference. I always preach, you know, you need to surround yourself with people that are almost better than you, so you adopt their traits and their habits, and you build yourself up, right? But there is a difference between, you know, knowing that you can reach that potential and, like, you are actively working towards it versus, like, what you were saying, where if you're just like, sitting at a table and you don't know anything because you didn't put that work in. There is a huge difference there.
Exactly. That's a very good point, too. And especially with, like, surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like in the future. People that you surround yourself with is going to be such a big reflection on you. If you surround yourself with bad people, you're going to end up just as bad as they are. But if you want to surround yourself by, like, these, you know, 6-figure real estate agents or, like, the smartest kids in the class, they're going to give you advice. They're going to be able to help you. They're going to be like, hey, you know, I know you're struggling. Let me give you some tips and stuff on how to get this material down.
Or if anything, it's going to motivate you to be like, okay, I need to study more because look, they got like an A on their exam and they're doing great. Or, hey, I need to put myself out there more because this agent is getting a bunch of bookings and, you know, selling a lot of houses. You know, you are going to adopt those traits. You're going to adopt those habits because you see the success. You know, that's something that I have always, you know, wanted a super just beautiful look, right? And I would, like, work out through school.
Yeah.
You know, with my extracurriculars or whatever, I would work out, but I would never, like, consistently keep a routine.
Consistency is key as well.
So I started implementing consistency within my routine. I started doing my Pilates, I started doing my yoga, and to some that's stupid, to some that doesn't make a difference. But for me, I started noticing results. Whenever I kept that consistency, I started noticing results. And it's great whenever it's something physical because you can see the results fairly, not super soon, but you can see it over time.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's something mental, maybe you don't see results
As fast as you would probably want to.
It goes a little slower, but I promise if you look back and you write a list, okay? If you write a list and you say, okay, well, I did this year, I did this. You know, at the end of the year, we always do a little list of things that we accomplished for the year.
Or like a little recap of, like, everything that we did.
You are going to see that accomplishment. You know, I have been in the modeling industry for, like, what, 3 years or I think now? And I thought, okay, well, I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not going as fast as, like, other peers or things like that. But I started listing out all that I've done. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it's moving slow, but that's okay.
And that's another thing. Progress is going to it's gonna be slow. It really is. Like, you can't expect things to change overnight
No.
just because you decided, oh, hey, I'm gonna make all A's.
No.
No, like, we all get to a point where we're at the lowest, and then we slowly have to rebuild. And like, the last month, like, I've been struggling in school. My head has not been in the mindset that I need it to be taking these hard classes. And my first test I got, I absolutely bombed it. Worst, it was quite literally the lowest test score I've ever got in my life. Instead of, just laying in my bed thinking like, oh, I should probably study for it, I literally got up and I was like, okay, like, you have to get a rap. And guess what I got on my next test, guys? I got a 62. Now, is that good? No, but compared to a 33,
Oh yeah,
to a 62,
worlds of literally 50% better. Or
I know,
almost 50%.
that's only 8 points away from passing. Like, you just continue going up, and like, it's not like a passing score, but it's still progress. It's still
nothing.
improvement, and it's all because you got up and decided, hey, I'm gonna change
Put in the
things.
work, and for us, we don't feel motivated at home. We don't feel motivated studying at home and putting the work in whenever we're, in our bedrooms. And so what we do whenever we feel unmotivated is we go study at a coffee shop.
Yeah, go study at the library or something.
We stay there for what, like 4 to 5 hours and get all of our work done. We're doing that tomorrow.
Right? Why can't you?
Yeah, find ways to motivate yourself. Find ways to put yourself out there, and even when you're not motivated, just do it. 3, 2, 1, do it.
And if anything, you need to stop making excuses for yourself. Like, the same thing, like, oh, if you know you can't do it, if you know you can't study the day before because you have all these activities to do, then study the day before that. Or reserve a time just for yourself and be like, hey, I'm gonna study at this time. You need to stop making excuses for yourself and letting this laziness overcome you, because you're not gonna go anywhere.
And that's all that's holding you back. If you say, I can't do this, I can't do that, my dad always said, if you say I can't, it's not going to happen. If you say, well, the worst result's going to happen, then that's going to happen. You have to put the positive mindset out there. Otherwise, the opposite of what you want is going to happen. And I don't think anybody wants that.
No, and it's not, there is no worse feeling than looking at something and being like, I could have gotten that if I just worked harder.
Yeah.
Or I could have had my dream body if I just went to the gym more often. Like,
you don't want to struggle like that.
No, you don't. And it's such a harsh and it's a harsh but real reality.
Yeah, it's eye-opening, quite frankly. And once you start implementing the ways to improve your life, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. I promise you. And naturally, everybody still has things that they need to improve on. We do. We're not perfect.
Nobody is.
No, exactly. But it's all about overcoming those obstacles and just creating the life that you want.
And then right now, the biggest obstacle is yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't, tell yourself, hey, we need to get up, we need to start working on ourselves, we need to start improving.
It's never going to happen.
No. You are your biggest obstacle.
And that is something that you need to remember. So I think that is all I have. Is that all you have?
I think so.
So I hope that you enjoyed this video, our new background. We love it. We're having so much fun.
Right?
So sorry for the background noise. But yeah, we are on a bunch of social medias.
We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
Spotify, depending on where you're watching it.
And then we're still trying to work on Apple Music for our non-Spotifyers.
Yes. So yeah, definitely give us a follow. We're doing some branding changes. We're having a lot of fun just creating our new versions of ourselves and our new chapter.
Yeah, we're going through this little whole transformation of trying to be the best, and I think it's even more exciting for you to go through as well.
Yeah, and then you can see our progress and see how it can get implemented in your life. So if you want to follow us along for that ride, definitely make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Spotify.
And our TikTok and
our Instagram, everything. But yeah, all right. Well, I hope that you have fun.
Yep. Bye, babes.